Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Jumoke Alaode James, and I'm here with my lovely ladies of Yourview. How are you, ladies?
Good morning, Jumoke.
Good morning.
Looking bright. Mrs. Ibiri, how are you today?
I know you have something to say. But this
We are
is
looking
YK,
bright.
so I had to wait by force.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Oh, it
much.
was a gift.
Yes. I must say that Governor Bode has done wonderfully well, because recently, for a full year, I didn't go to Bega. You know, I had to do my 6 months.
Oh.
And I went towards Bega and I saw the whole road. Everywhere looked new. In fact, I almost got lost finding my turning into the Ojodu side of the road, and everywhere just looked beautiful, and then it rained.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to go. And then it rained and all the gutters started pouring into the road.
Oh.
Everywhere was flooded, and I think we should just do the drainage clearing. Governor Bode 100% on point, but help us to clear the drainages. The rains have come.
Which one will you do yourself?
Okay.
Abi?
Mariah is unavoidably absent this morning. That is why there are 3 of us on set. But she's doing well. She'll be back on the show, hopefully by Monday morning. How are you today, Tokwe?
I am fine. I have plenty gist. Yesterday, I had a very busy day. I had a photo shoot for my friend. Then I went for Tara Feladrotoye's conference. Phenomenal, highlighted the importance of having good friendship, having good mentorship, and having good relationship with your partner. It was refreshing for me, and to see women. We were over 500 women gathered there. For me it was phenomenal, and I'm like, we shouldn't make it look like Nigerians don't want to learn. We actually want to learn. The women paid to go to that place, and we were there, and it was impactful. However, today is my seniors, senior Mrs. Odige. Her name is Chineye Odige. My senior's birthday. I'm doing shout out. I'm not usually doing this, but I have to just do that to her. She's been wonderful. She's a mentor in terms of living paid employment and going into her own business. I celebrate you, Chineye, today. I pray that you live long and in good health and continue to be a blessing to your family and to all of us and your generation at large. Have a good one.
Amen. Today, I realized that on Friday mornings, I'm very excited that the weekend is close by. Going on 4 years on the show, I still am not used to waking up very early. So usually I would go back and have a nap in the afternoon. If I don't have a nap in the afternoon, by the next morning, my body, I will wake up at 5, but the body will refuse to get up. Get up now, I'll have a nap in the afternoon. But you say, no, we're not getting up today. I have to be begging.
You're a night person. You must know what you do.
Because I sleep late all the time, so.
I'm a morning person.
I've realized if we should listen to our bodies. You see, that 20 minutes or 30 minutes of nap in the afternoon does a lot of good. If you have the chance to just, catch some snooze, just sleep and you'll be okay. Moving on. Coming after this short break is newspaper review. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
You're looking pretty though.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. Yourview will be right back.
Welcome back. Let's start with The Nation today. Major headline. Buhari returns today. APC, this will end speculations. Fashola denies frustrating Lagos. Apple 6, 2 policemen sentenced to death. $1 billion loan. CBN, NCC launch rescue mission for Etisalat. McAfee vows to flush sheriff out of PDP. Party chair, I'm for peace. Okay, so should we take the Fashola story or the Buhari returns today?
That's the
Well, I think we should take the major headline. We've seen the videos of him arriving at the Cardinal Airport. He's looking better than he looked in this picture yesterday with the Archbishop of Canterbury. Go ahead.
So, congratulations to our president. Congratulations to all Nigerians. We've been worried because we've been here where a president went and never came back in good condition. So we're happy that he's alive. We wish him well. We pray that as he comes back, he returns back into full action. And like you said, listen to your body. When it's time to rest, please rest. You have a good succession plan, a good deputy that can help you out. Take advantage and be good. You know, so let's quell that stress. Let's now talk about Fashola. Should we take it here or is it another?
I think we should take it in another paper.
Okay.
Okay, so moving on to our next paper, The Vanguard. Major headline, recession. Experts proffer solutions today at Vanguard Economic Discourse. Buhari expected back today, says the presidency. He's back. Naira appreciates to 455 Naira to the dollar as external reserves hit $30 billion. Reprieve for Etisalat as NCC, CBN prevail on banks against takeover. So we should talk about the NCC and
the
CBN.
NCC prevailed on the CBN or the CBN prevailed on the NCC. I don't know whichever.
Both of them are coming
the stories
together.
were conflicting in both papers to finally, you know, intervene in this issue between the telco and the banks to save, you know, workers and all that. But, you know, they had meetings and they're saying, we are looking into it, we are trying to intervene. The CBN is saying, we would make sure that, you know, things work out smoothly. I am worried that the CBN policy brought about this in the first place.
Okay.
You know, they let the Naira slide to the lowest, and, you know, this loan that the banks had gone into when the dollar to the Naira was favorable, and, you know, they were hoping we would be able to do this, but the recession affected this the policy affected the banks.
So, for instance, they took a loan. When you take a loan of $1 billion, at the time, maybe it was 216 billion Naira. Now, it's 455.
And you still have other costs.
It went as high as 500. So $500 billion, and you're wondering, for what? How?
When did that happen?
Exactly.
You know?
And when in recession, you have other costs to carry, you have salaries to pay, you know, things
all
are
your
not,
costs
you know,
are increasing.
Exactly.
Yes. I'm happy that the bodies have come together to resolve it, because we must protect the jobs of already suffering Nigerians under the burden of recession.
Yes,
so they should go ahead and do what needs to be done.
Cool. Moving on to our next paper, Daily Sun. Major headline, Buhari returns today, hosts Archbishop of Canterbury in London. Fashola hits back at Ambody, says Lagos governor lied about airport road rehabilitation. Senate declares war on customs boss, directs Ali to appear next Wednesday in uniform. Pro-Biafra agitators killings. Ohaneze rejects Army's probe panel. Apple 6. 2 policemen to die for murder. 4 others discharged, acquitted. 2019. INEC out with election timetable. Presidential National Assembly polls hold February 16, 2019. Governorship, State Assembly, March 2nd. APDP, 83 new parties seek registration. And finally, IGP deploys special intervention squad in Ile-Ife.
So all the stories happen to be in the Sun.
In the
So
Sun.
many stories.
Yeah.
When I saw the INEC calendar, I was worried that
Why?
we have not experienced any form of we've not experienced quality leadership and quality governance, and then suddenly the next election is coming up, and then the rat race will be on who gets dominated, and we'll just stop governance and we focus on election.
Exactly.
I'm worried about that. I wish maybe we just give us this year and let's start the wahala by 2018. It's too
but
early.
then INEC has to do their job.
They
I
need
know.
2 years to prepare.
So
Shine your eye, Nigerians.
Now the Fashola story. Do you want to take it quickly?
Yes, please go on to the Fashola.
Yes, let me
story.
talk about Fashola. Fashola has replied, because yesterday we deliberated about it, that the fact that Governor Ambode spoke up about the fact that he had asked the Ministry of, and he quoted Ministry of Works, Housing and Power, all that, and that he wanted permission to fix the road.
Fix the
airport to Oshodi Road. And Fashola clarified that there's a process, and that I explained to the governor that there is a process and it is ongoing, and that he listed 4 roads. 2 out of the roads actually cuts across interstate.
Yes.
So it involves more than Lagos State. So they had to get the approval
of
other governors.
Yeah.
And that he's tabled it at the last FEC meeting,
Yes.
and is still undergoing confirmation.
Yeah.
So Fashola, and I don't like the way they use the word headline sensationalize stories that will make it look like there's a problem somewhere. Fashola's reply was very, very. I was expecting a fire back.
It was clinical.
It was clinical. It went straight to the point to explain there's nothing personal. The processes are going on.
He also
there are also roads that where you ask permission for, and I have done it
exactly
because it was within my reach.
Yeah.
You wanted to handle the Third Mainland Bridge lighting,
Well,
and I approved
it.
You've done that. So this one that is not working is not personal. It is strictly processing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah. So
now the Akpo is killing. Finally, we have a conviction, but you know, some of us are still dissatisfied by this conviction because 6 police officers were, charged for this crime, and only 2 of them were convicted because the prosecution again failed in its case against the others. To establish a conspiracy matter, you have to establish that they all agreed before going into the crime.
And it's your word against mine.
It's not even, this
so
is
what was happening that these 2 policemen had confessed
because
and said that they did kill them, a few of them. They killed 2 on the road, another 2 within their
that's the issue. Their confessions
premises.
read that based on superior order.
Yes.
Whose superior order? These are investigations that can be carried out. These are investigations that can be perfected.
But
they could have done a better job. But we thank God at least 2 people. These people will at least
are getting justice.
Yes, the families of the victims will be able to find closure. At least they know that 2 people have been convicted. We hope that we get justice finally when they go all the rounds.
But this
to their appeal,
particular case has been on for
12 years. Since 2005 that the Akpo killings happened. Yes, 2005. I think June or July.
We need to find a way to speed up our justice system.
Speed up our prosecution, our investigation and sentencing.
It's also very important that investigations happen immediately. Yeah. Let's not always say we're investigating, we're working on it. It should happen immediately. Our witnesses should be immediate. And then when the trial should start immediately, when memory is fresh, we can get evidence.
I just wanted to respond to you that it's a 12-year case, so to start investigating now again will be a waste of time. Our final paper this morning is This Day. Major headline: Buhari returns, lands in Kaduna, chopper to presidential villa.
Someone was taking the train because all of us are taking trains.
This day had gone to press before the president arrived. Face off looms. Senate summons customs boss over car duty payments, orders him to appear in uniform. And finally, INEC releases timetable for 2019 elections, fixes February 16th for presidential and National Assembly polls, charges 23 indicted staff to courts. And Julius Berger commences rehabilitation work on Abuja Airport runway.
Okay. Now the Nigerian Customs and the Senate.
Yes.
The National Assembly, the Senate House of National Assembly had invited the director of the DG of the Nigerian Customs.
Yes.
And they said put on hold this policy on duty and duty on cars. But the Nigerian Customs said no, we would continue. Rather, they amended their policy and said they would rather pay rebates for the delay for those who have not paid. For about 60% and all. So that infuriated the Senate that you want to go ahead when we have said put on hold. Now we are inviting the DG.
Yes.
Come in your uniform, because since 2 years that he had been appointed,
he has
never worn the uniform.
Funny enough, I just watched him being interviewed on this day. I mean, on this breakfast show, our breakfast show, TVC breakfast, a few minutes ago. And for me, I heard him and I felt that he had his conviction on the fact that I want to run my system well, and we've had some lapses. We want to make the revenue come in, and so this is more of a revenue drive from what I got from him. But you cannot put the burden on the people for the lapses in your system.
Bam.
So if your system has allowed fraudulent smuggling to thrive, then block your own system. Don't come and impoverish people. I already bought a car. I've paid the bill. Why should I be the one to bother about the fact that the car was smuggled in and they didn't pay duty? And I bought the car like 2 years ago, so I'll not start looking for custom office to pay.
You don't get a car out of the port without a connivance by one
Anyway,
of these
so
officials
we'll watch
customs.
how this goes. The senators ordered him to appear next Wednesday.
With uniform.
So we'll be watching. That's all we can take today on Front Page Review. Up next on Hot Topic, Endo Awareness Campaign. And later, our celebrity guest takes the couch. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Welcome back. We have the Endo Awareness Campaigner in the studio. They're here to talk about the Endo March, which is an annual walk to raise awareness about endometriosis. Joining us on the show is the founder, Endometriosis Support Group Nigeria, Dr. Abayomi Ajayi. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Very much. We're excited to have you here. We discussed endometriosis, was it this week or last week?
Last week.
And so we need to know how much awareness are we creating about this issue, and what's your march about?
Thank you very much. How much awareness? Okay, let's start from about 20 years ago when we thought there was no endometriosis amongst blacks.
Wow.
So, and that was the basis from where we started from. And so when we saw endometriosis just once in a while, they will be the very obvious ones. And actually the diagnosis will have been missed. But maybe when you take the sample and you send it to the lab and they come back and say, this is endometriosis, and they say, okay, where did this come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, but in the last 12 years, we've been doing this and trying to raise the awareness of doctors because, you know, by accident, because I'm a fertility doctor, we started doing laparoscopic surgery. And we saw that it was as common in blacks as in whites.
Wow.
And the literature also confirmed that in places where blacks and whites live together. And so the first thing we had to come to terms with was raising the awareness of doctors that they needed to start looking out for endometriosis.
Okay,
Sorry to
please
cut you quickly.
reiterate what endometriosis
exactly?
is
Because of the viewers
and
watching.
the indications to the extent that if I have it, what should I be looking out for?
Exactly.
Okay, endometriosis, okay, let's start from the endometrium, which is what a woman sheds every month, the inner lining of the uterus. Okay, that's what a woman sheds every month. Now, when this inner lining is present in any other place apart from where it's supposed to be, then it behaves just like the normal endometrium, builds up and sheds. So you can imagine if this misplaced endometrium is on something like the ovary or in the abdomen generally.
Where
So
it
what
ought to be.
happens? Yeah, what happens is that the woman is like bleeding internally every month that she menstruates. So it's just a matter of time before the symptoms start. Okay. Now these symptoms, the commonest thing is pain. This pain could be maybe just with the menstrual period. You see some people having crippling pain whenever they're menstruating. Okay. They just can't do anything. You understand? Such people are people that we should look out for. But for some, actually this pain becomes like, it's there 24/7. It just doesn't go away at all.
Yeah.
So it's not only confined to when they're menstruating. For some, it's pain when they're having intercourse. Okay, that makes them not to even want to have anything like that. Now, and then this pain also could come when they're defecating or even urinating.
Depending on where the lining
The endrum is.
Fantastic, that's the idea. Now, also, some of them will have abnormal bleeding. Now, this bleeding could be that the menses is prolonged, it can be that they bleed abnormally, irregularly, or it could be from abnormal sites, depending again on where this endometrium is placed. For example, it could be placed on the navel. And so that means the woman might be bleeding from the navel. It could be sometimes wander into the lungs. And that means the woman can be bringing out blood when she coughs. So it could mimic a lot of things. And also the third thing is that it could be present with infertility. In Nigeria right now, what we found is that most of the cases that we see are those who have infertility. Why? Because most other people, either they've been taught to brace up to the pain and say, you know what, it's normal, just live with it.
Okay.
Either their mothers or their doctors, they've seen so many doctors who can make the diagnosis, and some doctors even tell them that it's in their head.
Okay.
So some of them are seeing shrinks.
Like I mentioned, we had Professor Faban will tell us about endometriosis just last week, Tuesday. So a bit of the things that you're saying, we've already heard from him. Exactly what is your organization doing about endometriosis campaign and awareness?
Okay. Like I said, that we're taking it two ways, to the doctors and to the public.
Okay.
Because what we say is that the women own their bodies. So even if the doctors make mistakes, you're going to live with your body. So we're trying to empower the two groups.
Okay.
So each year we have a doctors conference where we discuss about endometriosis. We bring doctors from all over the nation. This year, because of the study that we did, that we saw that in Nigeria we're only making diagnoses between the age of 31 and 40.
Yeah.
And we know that endometriosis starts in your adolescent years.
Wow.
So we're discussing endometriosis in adolescents this year.
We're taking it to schools.
So we're taking it to secondary schools, we're taking it to universities to see that these people get to know about it. And we're also bringing a doctor from the US where they're making a lot of diagnoses in adolescents.
Okay. Go ahead, Tope.
You mentioned that most of the time the cases presented that are being diagnosed are when it comes in conflict or overlapping with infertility. That is when it is easier to diagnose. But you've also mentioned that endometriosis displays in many other areas, everywhere you find endometrium. So maybe you're peeing blood. Is your organization increasing awareness to diagnose appropriately endometriosis in other areas apart from when it's affecting fertility?
Okay.
The first thing is that the doctor must think about endometriosis.
Oh,
All right? Because we've seen so many cases where the patient has this bringing out blood in her sputum. And she's been on anti-tuberculous drugs for about 2 years.
Wow.
And it's only endometriosis that is the problem.
Wow.
So the first thing is that the doctor must be thinking of endometriosis. And sometimes also the patients must think of endometriosis.
I'm coughing blood, it
because
might
they're not
be
aware.
endometriosis.
Exactly. So if they're going on a goose chase, you can, doctor, do you think I have endometriosis? That might just be the clincher. So that's what we're trying to do.
Oh, so we must be aware.
Aware.
Oh,
Yes.
definitely.
Okay.
I'd like
Definitely.
to ask about the cost of treatment and how to go about it. Is
How are
it
you
possible
helping?
that your group is doing anything to support people who have been diagnosed of endometriosis, and you know how expensive is the cost? How do you raise funds for that?
Well, the thing is the diagnosis needs to be made first and
First of
foremost.
all.
And that's also a big problem in Nigeria because the equipment necessary for making the diagnosis is probably present in less than 1% of hospitals in Nigeria, both government and private. And therefore, that's one of the things that we're also trying to do. Make sure that we can provide training for doctors and probably the help with the equipment. That's from the doctor's point of view. But what we think is the lowest hanging fruit actually is the awareness.
Okay.
And we are not saying that we don't have all the money in the world to be able to do all this. So
Okay, Dr. Abayomi, I'm going to have you tell us about when your work is happening, but we have our first caller, Ibukun, is calling from Surulere. Good morning. Thank you for joining the conversation.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you today, sir?
I'm fine. I'm a first time scholar.
Ooh,
Welcome
to the show. So please go ahead with your question, Ibukun.
Excuse me, sir. How can someone know the symptoms of endometriosis?
Endometriosis.
Thank you, Ibukun. Did you hear the question?
not exactly.
He said, how can one detect endometriosis?
I think he mentioned
I think he's answered that question already. So please tell us when your work is.
Yeah, the walk is on Saturday.
Okay.
And it's at 8 a.m. We're starting from the city mall in Onekon, and we're walking to Murio Kuala.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tomorrow,
so
Saturday, the 11th.
tomorrow is Saturday. Yeah.
And I just want them
So
to be
your
sure.
target audience are obviously women and particularly young girls because you're taking it to school. How are you reaching them?
Well, we started this year by actually even starting with an essay competition among these secondary schools. We want to know what they already know,
Okay.
so that we can also know how we can plan to get to
reach
them.
them.
We're going to go nationwide, but What we started this year with 5 secondary schools in Lagos State to try and see what do they know about endometriosis. So that we're going to give out the award also to see who scores well in the essay competition.
We have to go for a break in a minute.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Welcome back. Now, I was saying that we should talk about the health system in Nigeria. The Minister of Health is a gynecologist, so endometriosis is, one of the issues that should be under him. But the budget for health this year is 50 billion. What is that supposed to do? How many hospitals is that supposed to revamp? Is it just for paying salaries and all of us, when we have health issues, we either pray for a miracle or just die? Because it's not all of us that can afford to fly to Dubai, India, or the US. In fact, 4 Nigerians were deported from the US. 2 of them, because they didn't have enough money in their card. One went with his pregnant wife. And they said, for you to come into this country, who's going to pay the bill? If your wife wants to deliver in this country, we're running abroad because we don't have health care in Nigeria. What do we need to do, sir?
Well, I think it's more than the health minister. It's a whole nation. It's a tragedy. They say health is wealth, but not in Nigeria. Look, I just read the economic recovery program of the federal government of Nigeria, and we can place more emphasis on film industry than the health sector. Seriously, I'm sorry, it's an emotional point for me. So I seriously don't want to
No.
lose my cool
You're a medical
about
doctor, please.
During the break, I mentioned the fact that both of us experienced the normal, what every Nigerian goes through. We use general hospital to have our children. I had to be taken to a bed where a lady that was on that bed had to be vacated because they said, oh, she's in labor, you lost your child. Like somebody just lost her child and you say, stand up, you go and sit down, let this madam is in labor, let her stay on the bed for the period. Look, it is that bad.
Let me tell you something. Let's even leave emotion out of it. The business side. $1 billion is what Nigerians spend annually on health tourism.
So we already spent, we have the money.
So
why can't
if
not
we
bring it in?
make that, if we retain that, look, when I was in doing my residency program in UCH, the West African sub-region, the only cancer center was UCH.
Imagine. May I interrupt you, sir, to take Christabel, who's calling?
Okay,
I'm sorry.
You talked
Please,
about
I
medical
interrupted
tourism.
him.
Let him continue.
Yeah.
Please.
So why can't we get back to that if it is even money we want to make?
Yeah.
Why are Nigerians going to India? It was a deliberate policy by the government.
Wow.
So why can't we have such a deliberate policy to improve our health sector?
What do we need to do?
What do we need to do? Fantastic question. The first thing is that it's not a government thing. It's that the government needs to privatize, even all the teaching hospitals that they are holding on to. They have to privatize.
Would it be affordable?
Will the poor Nigerians be able to afford it?
See, there are 2 things to it. One is availability.
Right now, it's not available.
There is even nothing that is available right now. So if we want to make anything it should be in 2 steps. That's why we now have the insurance.
Dr. Abayomi, may I interrupt you again? EC is calling from Jos. Good morning.
What's wrong with our phones today?
Sorry.
Okay, you were talking about medical tourism earlier, and I wanted you to, shed more light on this India tourism thing. A lot of Nigerians come back and they don't really get any quality healthcare in India. But every hospital that you go, we are going to India. Every video you see, this person will need to raise money to go to India. What
dialysis,
is
India.
How
Kidney transplant,
improved
India.
is this Indian healthcare that
Hole in
are
the heart.
running
India.
into India for?
Yeah,
And we have doctors.
There is no doubt that there are facilities in India. Okay, just like I said, it was a deliberate government policy. But I have my misgivings. But
Okay,
I
we have
seriously
a
don't
phone
want.
call. Wale has called in from Ikorodu. Good morning.
Yes, good morning and happy weekend to you all there.
Same to you.
Quickly, I think from your end and from the doctor's end and from every Nigerian's end, we must, with immediate effect, talk about the national health insurance. The health insurance should go on right now. We should start the implementation right now. You see, the problem we have is that we have government coming up with fantastic policies without implementation. Obasanjo launched the national health insurance. I don't know why we've not implemented it, even up to 30% now.
It's
Because
implemented.
what we have is just, the implementation is just 10% as we could say.
Yeah.
Maybe perhaps in some corporate organization and federal parastatals and agencies.
Yeah.
Let all these things go round.
Yeah.
If all these things go around, the federal government does not need a budget. How much is 50 billion? How many hospitals can this take care of? Have a good morning.
Thank you, Wale.
Like Wale said now, the national healthcare insurance system is only covering federal workers.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, most federal workers who use it still confirm that only an amount of treatment that they can get.
Because I went
know
for a dental clinic.
they paid for my friend's surgery twice, but you know, there's a level, I think it's about 40 to 60%. Now, we private workers can't even get involved in the system. Now, we're talking about a holistic Nigerian national healthcare system that, you know, helps
everybody.
people.
I went to the dental hospital in Lasut, and I asked that, how much would it cost to do this, do that, habit breakers and everything. And when they gave me the bill, I said, in a general hospital, you want me to pay 75,000 naira to put brace, just habit breaker in my son's mouth? I'm like, how many people can afford that? Okay, let me find out from NHIS. What can they do for me? They say, no, we don't cover that one in NHIS.
Yes,
I say, okay, filling the hole in my teeth and call, would NHIS cover? I say, no, we don't cover that one. I say,
so what
exactly
does?
I was like, what exactly does NHIS cover? They say, okay, we'll just they'll check your tooth and then they might do scrape and polish. I said, so that is all you cover on the dental level. So you said that we should break it down, but I'm for, while we wait for the big policy issues, what can we do now? There's a major issue. Why is it that all CMDs in every hospital are medical doctors? You see, so the nurses are complaining, the lab scientists are complaining. They say that break this down, let it be managed by business administration experts.
What are they managing?
What
are they managing?
Before
there
you
are
answer,
no facilities.
We have Laja Martins on the phone. Sorry. Good morning, Laja Martins.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, ladies.
Morning, sir.
How are you this morning?
Well, fine. Please go ahead with your question.
Okay. I just feel the doctor was talking about being expensive, the treatment being expensive. But I see it as something we can do it by making a balancing out. Okay. What I mean is this: the rich will cater for the poor. There is a doctor, I will not mention the name. If you go to him, the poor will be attended to, the rich will be attended to, have the same ailment. And what you discover is that the poor man will pay maybe in pittance, something very small, while the rich will compensate for whatever the poor man pays. It happens everywhere in the world. In the U.S., I remember I paid $9 for a bunch of medicine I collected. Okay. And somebody else paid about $250. So we can always have this insurance or whatever, or specialist hospitals.
Thank you very much, Laja. Thank you, Laja.
I think we're missing the point.
Okay.
The point is that we don't even have anything working now in Nigeria. I'm sorry.
No cancer.
That is the truth.
No dialysis.
And
but
therefore,
that's
what all these things, people managing what? What are they managing? We need to have facilities first. The only thing that makes sense right now in this country are privately run institutions. And for me, I think we should marry the two. Okay, the people who already know how to run hospitals should be made to. I'm not against also even bringing foreigners in, but we should also look at the people who know how to. So the PPP thing is a wonderful initiative, but in Nigeria, is it working? That is a great question.
I'm a little amazed how we're going capitalist gradually. What happened to the social system that we had in place pre-independence?
Even
That
post-independence.
our forefathers managed, you know, into the Civil War. After the Civil War, things just started deteriorating, and it seemed like we're just not united. Everybody comes for what they can get from the system rather than what they can give. You're going capitalist. It's not every Nigerian that can afford, you know, paying for these things. If we privatize everything, I'm going on the road, they say pay toll. I'm doing this, pay. For majority are poor. Majority are poor.
See, Jumoke, that's the problem again that we're having. If you want to go with this poverty thing that we're talking about, there will be nothing that will be provided. Government is poor. Citizens are poor. But the fact is that we need services.
Yes.
Who are the people who can provide the services? Some people already have the money. They want to make more money from having the... Am I against that? No, I'm not. As long as we can, just like the gentleman Laja said, we can take care of our poor people also.
Okay.
You understand? But if we want to wait, there might be no facilities. This is where we stay forever, where we're looking. Let the facilities be available.
Let me take you to
So,
another...
but before you go there, now the Lagos State government, for instance, the kidney and renal center that they were going to provide, that was taxpayers' money that was supposed to provide the facilities, and nothing happened. You know, so even the ones that they want to do, what happens to it?
The budget, the 50 million, if we appropriate it and the minister ensures every single naira goes to what it is meant to go to, we will feel the impact, no matter how small. There are a lot of gaps and lapses in terms of, we budget 5 million for something and 1 million doesn't even get to that entire, that's local medical center might not get 1 million from the 5 million budgeted. That's where the lapses are. But I want to take you somewhere else because
Takwe, we have to go for a break, and I just wanted him to go on telling us about his campaign before we go on the break. Okay. Yeah, so...
Okay. So the campaign, of course, we're walking tomorrow on Saturday.
Yeah.
And everybody's invited.
Yeah.
Then there is a gala on the 19th of this month.
Okay.
At the Civic Center.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's strictly by invitation.
Oh, okay.
And, but also, we're continuing with this campaign to the schools. I mean, so we implore everybody to be endo-aware.
Sorry, the work starts where? Where
starts at the
meeting
Onikon Mall.
Okay.
City Mall.
City Mall, Onikon.
Yeah.
Well done for the much that you're doing, Dr. Abayomi Ajayi. We're very grateful. This conversation hasn't ended. We hope that we can bring you back. You know, this is an issue that touches the heart of all of us, and we must keep on talking about it, as saddening as it is. Thank you so very much, and we hope for a good outcome at the walk on Saturday. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we go on a break. Next, we chat with our celebrity guests. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Lawal Deborah Olufumilayo, also known as Kayefi, is a recording artist with a unique genre of music, which is a blend of African melody, a fusion of Ijala, a traditional African chant from the Yoruba-speaking part of Nigeria. Kayefi has been in the music industry for more than 10 years, and she has worked with notable Nigerian acts. Kayefi, welcome to Yourview.
Good morning.
Nice to see you. So why are you late?
Oh, traffic all over Lagos.
Yeah, so we only have a few minutes to do your interview. So okay. You've been in the music industry for over 10 years. A few people do not know you. Tell us about your music.
My music is called Afro Soul. It's aptly called Afro Soul. It's a blend of African, the Yoruba language and English language, and a little soul to it also, and folklorish also.
Okay. What is Ijala? Tell us about that.
It's a chant. A chant usually used by hunters in the Yoruba land.
Can you do Ijala?
Sure, why not?
Go ahead.
Orí ẹkún mú wáyé lẹ́kún fi ń lágbó àìmórí wáyé ló jala kan níyà. Orí mi wò bí rẹ̀ gbé mi yà ó. Ẹ̀bọ́ orí la fi yẹran láwọ̀ bá a bá jí lówùrọ̀ orí wa ló yẹ ká bẹ̀ pé kórì wa kó lànà rere fún wa. Orí mi gbé mi débi rẹ̀ bí ayọ̀ ibi àlàáfíà. Ibùjókòó ayọ̀ tí ó fi mí lákàn balẹ̀ orí mi o. Let me just stop there.
Wow, I am impressed. Your voice is as if you just switched on something.
How do you now blend that with soul now?
Yes.
Yeah.
And why do you even have to blend it?
You know, because of the people that don't understand my language, I have to like try to make them, because I have to like pass some messages out there. If I speak only Yoruba, it will be difficult for people to understand. So that's why I had to blend the two languages.
Who motivated your Ijala genre, and how did you choose your style of music?
Oh, I can't say I chose it, actually. It grew on me.
Okay.
While I was growing up, I mixed up with people that were into theater arts.
Okay.
I used to act stage dramas and all that. So I had this woman that used to do these chants, and I was like, wow, I'm going to be like this woman. So I tried imitating her and all that. Then growing up in school, I used to do cultural dance. I was usually always the leader from primary school to secondary school. So the music just grew up on me, so I can't say I chose. It chose me.
We're so sad that you came late. We have to round off. Really? So, a word to your fans. What are you doing in future? What do you want us to know before we close the show?
Okay, my EP is almost out.
Okay.
It's called Crazy World. So I'll keep you guys posted on the release dates.
Okay.
And thanks for loving me and thanks for listening to my music.
Yeah, we'd like to have you back actually,
Yes,
and you have to come early.
I would love to come. Don't worry, I'll move from Alagbo down and I'll move to Ikeja. I'll come and join people in Ikeja. Yeah. That place is inside.
Thank you so very much for coming. We wish you the very best in your music.
Thank you very much.
Okay, it's a wrap for today. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.